Right now, your head's potentially everywhere. You're stuck on yesterday, spiraling over tomorrow, and that's the habit that's wrecking you. That ends today. Stay with me because by the end of the episode, you'll know exactly how to start over. Hi everyone, welcome to Reflect, Improve, and Thrive. I'm your host Hunter Nunes and I'm super excited. I am back. This is episode 1 of this new rebrand. Just for some context, if you've been here in the past, I did have plenty of episodes and I decided I wanted to revamp this podcast. I wanted to start fresh, and that's kind of the title of this episode. It's the power of starting over. And I decided that this is something I really wanted to come back to. Feel free. I'm also going to put some chapters in here, so if you want to hear where I've been and kind of just more about me, feel free to keep listening. But if you want to go straight into the reflect section and just kind of go right into the episode, I will put the chapters in here, so feel free to just click there, or you can just kind of like skip forward just to see. But anyways, okay, so guys, I have been gone for a while. A lot of my life has changed. I think since I started filming, I think the last episode I posted was in 2024, or maybe it was the beginning of 2025, if I'm correct. I don't know. Life has been crazy, but it's obviously now July 2026, which is crazy. I feel like I've learned so much about myself during that time I've been gone. But then also, I mean, like, my life has literally changed so much, and I don't even know where to start. I'm back, and I'm so excited to just have this as like a passion project again. I think I was dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome because I didn't feel like I had the right takes, or that I wasn't critically thinking enough, and I just kind of got in my head, and then I realized like I will never be perfect, and that is a-okay, because that's kind of like the name of the game of being human, is that you're never going to be perfect, but you'll always learn and grow if you keep showing up. So that's kind of what I'm doing, this new journey I'm on. And also something I wanted to say I'm like really excited about. I am going to be posting different meditations on this podcast YouTube channel only. So that's a YouTube exclusive. If you're subscribed, so feel free to tune into those. I've been really in this groove of resetting my subconscious mind, and I've been literally listening to affirmations while I go to sleep. Whenever I'm at work and I have a second, I'll put like subliminals on, or different affirmations, or different mindset videos. I've been doing a lot of inner work, and I'm now starting to see how that's been helping me, I guess, because there was a time, you guys, where I was just kind of stuck in a rut. I constantly was feeling like not satisfied with myself and very self-critical, and I knew I was just so disconnected from myself because I just put so much pressure on, I don't know, just on myself and on my life and where I was going. I took a lot of time to do that inner work, and now I feel like it's paying off because all the things I want to do, I'm just going for it, and I'm feeling good about it. And if it doesn't turn out the best, that's okay, as long as I'm like putting my face out there, you know, and like allowing myself to be seen, because that's also something I've been really trying to work on, is allowing myself to be seen and not feel so insecure about that. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm just excited. So new episodes every single Monday. There's gonna be, I think the meditations are also gonna come out every Monday as well. Real quick, I did want to say they're actually gonna come out on Thursdays, not Mondays, so just a heads up. But again, if you do want to listen to the meditations and you're listening on like Spotify or Apple Podcast, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I want that to be like the YouTube exclusive community thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's get right into the episode. Thank you guys for hearing me and listening to me ramble. The power of starting over. I decided this was like the perfect intro episode because I'm starting over. If you guys have been following me in the past, I did have this channel up for like, I guess it's been like 3 years now, which is crazy, but I deleted pretty much everything and I'm starting fresh. I have a new mindset, I have new takes, and I want this new version of myself to just spew out all the wisdom. Starting over is very uncomfortable at first, but that's just because we're so stuck in this routine of constantly doing what feels comfortable. Step out, and to be more and have more, you have to change. And of course, that's going to be super uncomfortable. You've been so set on doing that one thing over and over again. Like even me sitting down here, like filming this, feels like I have hella imposter syndrome. I'm not going to lie, but that's okay, because the more I come in here and chat with you guys, the more I'll get comfortable with it. But you have to start, otherwise your life won't change. And that's tea. And it's unfortunate because especially those who have a lot of anxiety, it's like kind of hard to kind of get the ball rolling. But just literally sit your butt down, whatever you want to do, and do it. Just do it. As long as you're doing it for yourself, I think that is like a win. Let's just go straight into the reflect sections. How I like to do my podcast is literally from the title. We're going to be doing some reflecting, we're going to be doing some improvements, and then we're going to thrive. I also have my journal here, so if I'm looking down a lot, that is why. So I put in here, I was just kind of feeling stuck. I felt like my life was on autopilot and I wanted to change. I just didn't know how to start. I just felt like, again, the imposter syndrome, which that is something that I've really been trying to step out of and kind of allow myself to, again, be visible without being perfect. And I just kind of felt like my life was same thing every single day. So I would literally, I go to work and then I come home, shower, eat, and then go on my phone, scroll on TikTok, blah, 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 blah. And I repeat it. And I repeat it. I just realized how much of life I feel like I'm taking for granted too. I'm a very passionate person and I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice if I'm continuing to not allow myself to go after my passions. I love having conversations like this. I feel like this is where I feel the most validated, I guess, or like it feels like I'm able to create a conversation that like I want to have. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is something that's been really important to me and like wanting to start it. I found this thing on Substack, which also, if you really like reading essays, kind of random, but Substack is literally the best place to go. Like, I love it because people put all their different takes on there. And I follow a lot of people that do mindset stuff and like spirituality. I read a whole article. If I find it, I'll link it below. But if I don't find it, just know that this did not come from me. I don't know who wrote it because I was just browsing and then I wrote it in my journal like after. It's called The Habit Loop. And basically they were just explaining how our brain craves routine. We love it. That's where we find comfort. That's where we find safety. And especially once you feel like established in that routine, stepping out of it's really hard. Your body, your nervous system is just craving safety. You just want to feel good. Something I really liked is at the very end of the article, they were explaining if you do want change, try to like reframe your mindset. This is just a little update and slowly work little by little by little, because then you can allow yourself to get into this new identity, slowly leaving your past identity behind. But I feel like sometimes if you make too big of a switch, your body just kind of goes into like fight or flight mode. And then like you just want to revert back to what feels comfortable. So overall, that's just kind of my thoughts on starting over. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. However, like I do want more in my life. I do want to be at a different place where I feel like I created. I want to be someone that takes risks. I don't want to think about the what ifs. I don't want to have the regret of not trying. And I just want to just go all in and like have more for myself. Hence why I'm filming this. I want to create a community where people understand my mind and maybe not completely understand it. I'm able to kind of create more relationships that way. Of maybe you have this conversation with yourself or like you think the similar way that I do. And I want to be able to find those people because I want to continue to grow and like learn from others. And I'll never have that if I never make this podcast, or that's just kind of where my mind's at. So yeah. So now we're moving into the next segment. So this is the improve segment. So I have a couple of steps, and again, I have my journal here, so I'm going to be kind of like reading a little bit verbatim. So yeah, if you see me looking down, that is why. So step number 1, how to start over. So the first thing is to stop waiting to feel ready. And this is a big one for me. I am someone that always feels, okay, like I'll do it when I'm ready. Or even if I'm like laying in bed, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it right now. I'll wait till tomorrow. And sometimes that's okay. But most of the time, that's not okay. Most of the time, you're just reaffirming an excuse to stay comfortable where you're at now. And one lie that I feel like we all tell ourselves, you'll like start when you feel confident. The reality is confidence is not the input, it's the output. I feel like that is kind of the product that you'll get from doing the thing. So for example, with this podcast, not the most confident at the moment. I think confidence is going to come from months from now when I've been posting weekly and I've proved to myself that this is who I am. And then I think that's when I'll really feel like the confidence because it's more of an output. But I think a lot of us continue to stop ourselves from like going towards whatever we want to do just because we feel like we're not ready and that we don't know all the right things to start. That is what holds us back so much, because there's so many things that you can do in life if you just start. And then what if it doesn't work out? Then at least you'll know. You know what I mean? At least you'll be like, oh shit, like that was not the vibe. Let me take a step back and like find my flow again. Or you'll be like, you'll start the thing. And what if it inspires you to do something else, which then creates like a whole different thing, you know? But like you'll never know if you don't show up. So girl, show up. The less thinking and planning and more just doing and learning from it. This is something that also like I do a lot, is I try to like plan my way into doing it. And so I stop myself from doing the thing because I'm like planning way too long rather than just sitting down and filming. I'm just using the analogy of like me starting this podcast because that's the journey I'm on, but feel free to like put that in your own experience, like whatever that makes sense for you. So yeah, so step number 1, stop waiting to feel ready, because let's be real, you'll never feel ready. You'll just constantly be pushing it back. Just do it and do it scared, and then eventually you'll be confident. Trust me there. Step number 2 is to decide who you're becoming. So what I want you to do is to really focus on your identity. And this is going to be another podcast episode. So if you're still kind of feeling like you want some more info, I will be creating a new episode on that. So just feel free to stay tuned. Again, subscribe, follow, quick plug. Identity comes before action, not after. Most people go about it in, I want to be healthier, I want to be more confident. And then they wonder why it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick because you're operating from the mindset of someone that doesn't have what you want. The shift isn't do more. The shift is become the person that does it without even thinking about it. I want you to start trading the outcome question to the identity question. Stop asking yourself, how do I achieve this? And start getting into the mindset of who is the person that already has this? And start making your decisions based off of who the person is that you want to be and what they do on a daily basis. A good example is someone that's disciplined. They don't really go back and forth about going to the gym. They just go to the gym because that's who they are. That's what they do. That is their routine. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to overthink it. That's just what they do. Even when it's hard, they still show up because that's part of their identity. So what I want you to do is build the identity, and that behavior will stop the fight. Step number 3 is make peace with failure. And this one's hard for me because coming from someone that wanted to be perfect at literally everything I do, this one's hard. This is definitely a shadow that I do need to work on. But you gotta make peace with failure. You're going to fail, and that's the name of the game, no matter what you're doing in life. And I think failing is such a powerful thing you can do for yourself, because if you're not failing, you're never learning, to be honest, because once you fail, I feel like that's when you push yourself into uncomfortable situations of like, you got to learn how to overcome it. And if you're able to have this wisdom of learning how to overcome whatever you're doing, I feel like that's when you really build your credibility, by failing, because now you know. You know what I mean? Step number 4. So this is to build evidence for yourself. And so this one I think is very, very important. What I mean by building evidence for yourself, I mean going for that thing. So again, I'm just going to put this analogy into my own shoes, but starting the podcast, I have to build evidence for myself. I have to really embrace the identity that I put out there. And my identity that I wrote for myself is I just want to be someone that's consistent. Like, I want to be someone that shows up every single week, that even when it's hard, like, I'm still sitting down to have these conversations, because I know my future self, like, wants this. He wants this bad, down bad. And I want him to enjoy having that lifestyle, you know? And I'll never have that lifestyle if I don't start. So I got to build evidence. I got to put in those reps, just like, you know, building a muscle. You got to keep showing up. You got to increase the weight. You got to continue doing it. The more consistent you are, the more you're going to believe that's who you are. So build that evidence for yourself. And step number 5 is to fall in love with the vision. And I think this one's honestly the most important. And they always say, like, or I've heard a lot of people say that make a lot of money and just that type of stuff. They always say they fell in love with the journey, because regardless, just know your goals are always going to shift. They're always going to change, because as humans, I think a lot of us always want bigger and better. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think a lot of people think that as such a negative point of view, but I disagree. I think it's beautiful to want more for yourself, because you're allowing yourself to experience all of what life has. And if you're in a position to hopefully do more and be more for yourself, like why wouldn't you? I feel like you're doing a disservice if you don't, you know? Side tangent. But yeah, so fall in love with the vision. Another thing that I want to throw out there is to start scripting. Grab a journal, and I will say journaling on your notes app on your phone is totally okay, but I genuinely think writing things down like physically is really where the magic happens. And I know a lot of people avoid it just because it's a lot more effort, and I feel like sometimes it's scary to be like honest, but I'm telling you, like that is where literally everything good that happens to me, I feel like is because I like genuinely journaled it and I wrote it out physically because I set that vision. And yeah, so I say grab a pen, grab paper, write your vision and kind of where you want to see yourselves rather in 5 years from now, or even just like in general. You don't even have to put like a time limit. Get really creative and get excited about what your life could be and become if you continue to embrace the goal that you want to have. And I feel like once you kind of get to read the script after you're done, it kind of gets you excited to just be like, oh my gosh, like this is the life that I can create for myself, because genuinely anything is possible. You can literally do anything you put your mind to. You just got to like show up and believe it. Law of assumption, you know, what you believe in is what you'll see. Start doing vision boards. I feel like sometimes when I'm bored, just like a little thing I like to do is just create little vision boards on Pinterest, just for me to just see like, oh my gosh, I love this type of fashion and this is what I want to have my identity set to. Or even like with my goals, one Pinterest board I've been really like loving is I've been really falling in love with creativity with Instagram, finding different picture ideas, picture inspo, things like that. I really like to do that. It's been really helping me fall in love with the vision of creating this digital world for myself. Okay, so that kind of wraps up the improvements. So kind of just going through all the steps. So step number 1, stop waiting to feel ready, because you'll never feel ready. Just do it, go for it. Step number 2, decide who you're becoming. Really get clear with your identity. Step number 3 is to make peace with failure. Step number 4, build evidence for yourself. And the last step, fall in love with the vision. And these are all 5 simple steps we can all do. And again, you don't have to do all of this in one day. I just kind of put all this out there, and these are little things that you can start doing to create a better life for your future self. So now we are in the Thrive section. So thank you guys for listening so far. I'm really happy that, again, I'm doing this. I feel really good. I'm like giddy. We thrive by showing up. You got to show up. If you have goals, if you have aspirations in life, you have to show up. You can't just expect it to happen. And I think this mindset happens a lot with like manifesting. I hear a lot of people just say like sit back and relax, which is what you want to do, right? But they take that too deep where they literally only sit back and relax. But like when it comes to manifesting, you do also have to put aligned action into the work. You need to like actually go out there and do it, because that's where you're really going to get the ball rolling, because that's who you are. I feel like the more you do is the more you prove to yourself that's who you are. That's your identity. And that is where the magic lies. Another thing I want you to think about is if you locked in, okay, so it's July 2026. If you locked in completely, where would your life be October 2026? If you really went in all on your goal, you show up weekly, daily, whatever your goal is, how much change would you see, in October? And that's not even too far away, but think about how much change could happen if you just start now. If you're able to really visualize this new identity for yourself, it kind of gets you excited. So much of your life can change, especially if you're at a place where you feel you're in autopilot. What if you just create this new chapter for yourself where you're able to feel super empowered? Make the decision today. Make the decision that you want to change for the better. And when you decide, literally just clear out all the noise and just focus on one thing. You don't have to overwhelm yourself by putting like 10 different tasks out there. Literally just focus on one thing and do that one thing like as soon as you're able to. So if you're at work listening to this, as soon as you get home, start that one project. Even if it's like super hard, the more you just show up, the more you'll just feel like this is who you are, and you're going to just feel more confident about it, and there's going to be less resistance in the future. But you have to start. You have to prove to yourself that this is who you are, and you will literally have anything you want in life if you just continue to show up. So just remember, your dreams don't just magically appear. They're going to show up by your decisions and by your experiences. So if you can prove to yourself that you are deciding that this is who you are and that you're going to have the experience that you desire, you will have that. You just literally got to just do it rather than just like thinking they're gonna like magically appear. So just put in the action, put yourself out there, and you will literally have it. So I'm super excited for you, and I hope you're excited. Like, you should feel really motivated and excited to do whatever your heart desires, because this is your life and you deserve to have full autonomy over what you want to do. So I did have a little challenge I want you guys to do if you feel up to it. So I want you to write in your notes app, or preferably journal, because again, the paper and pen thing is just, I stand by that. I genuinely feel like that's where the special sauce is. But write one thing you want to do before next week's episode. So depending on whenever you're listening to this, by next time you listen to the next episode, hopefully you can complete this one task. So for me, it's just going to be editing this podcast and putting it out there. And then I'm just going to continue to show up. So that's my thing. I'm going to create evidence for myself by doing that one thing. That kind of concludes everything. I hope you guys took something out of this episode. And thank you for bearing with me. I know I'm like still kind of new to this, so hopefully I'll find my little flow. But I'm really excited to talk more to you guys. And again, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see the meditation. Follow on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Feel free to give me a 5-star. It helps so much just to put my podcast out there more. And I'm very grateful for you guys. And I'll see you next time. Bye.